Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Oh, hola, bom dia, alegria, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show. Not sure what happened to the intro video there. I hope that worked for you behind the scenes. I'll tell you what, let's just do that one more time and we'll come in again.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know.
Hola, bom dia, alegria. There you go. That feels better now. A lovely picture of John with both flags, the United States and the Portuguese flag, of course, there. He's back. He's back on Terra Portuguesa. Let's give him a nice big round of applause and bring him onto the screen. Hola, bom dia, John. Welcome back to Portugal.
Bom dia, como está? Tudo bem?
Muito bem. You're Portuguese. You've come back and you've hit the ground running speaking Portuguese. Has that been confusing while you've been over in the USA? Were you going into shops and saying bom dia, tudo bem to people?
Yeah, a little bit at the beginning. I do have the benefit of my brother-in-law being fluent in Portuguese himself. He grew up in Brazil.
Wow.
So that was so he and I speak Portuguese together. So it's kind of fun.
I don't suppose you saw that coming a few years back.
No. Yeah, because he's done that all of his life. Of course, I've known him since, I was probably 8. Was when he first was dating my sister,
Right.
and he fit right in with the family. But yeah, he's my other older brother. So
Wow, and a Portuguese coach in the family.
Exactly. It's Brazilian, so I have to correct his pronunciation.
Obviously, I'm sure he enjoys that.
Yeah, he's open to it. He says he's open to it.
Amazing. Well, lovely to have you back. What was the first thing you did that was especially or typically Portuguese on arrival back from the US, where you've been for a little while?
The first thing I did, well, we were picked up at the airport by Bob and Viv,
Yep.
and that was fantastic. And they took us home on lovely chat in the car. But then the first thing I did was probably take a nap.
Very Portuguese.
Yeah.
Perhaps a little bit more Spanish than Portuguese. We've just spoken to the man in the Minho, and they were talking about how lovely it is to be so close to Spain, where they have the siesta in the afternoon. Sexta here, so you had your sexta, and then when you leapt up from that like a coiled spring, was it off down to the padaria or your favorite restaurant?
Probably not. We did some shopping because the fridge was completely bare.
Yeah.
So and that was fun to kind of get back in the routines of things.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of new construction in town, and they've just had the Vacas de Cordas big festival, where they have the bull chasing and things. So probably not a bad thing to miss that, because that's always quite crazy.
Yeah.
But took a nice drive to the coast in Zed, our little convertible BMW. And as I was telling you a little while ago, here it's 35 degrees, and there along the coast was only 21. So
yeah, very
it
good.
was brilliant. And one of the first rules here in Portugal is never leave the house without having a coat in your car.
Yeah, right. Layers.
You never know when you're going to need it, and I almost needed it because we were sitting outdoors.
I'm sure you weren't expecting that. Let's have a look on that note. Let's have a quick look at the weather today. I mean, there are some wildly hot temperatures forecast and being experienced. You'll see here, Alentejo getting over towards the Spanish border. Temperatures in the 40s. Look at that, 42, 43 in the Alentejo. And as you're saying, John, quite considerably cooler as you head towards the coast up there where you are in the north, looking like 27. Although just going inland, away from the sea, up to 36. There, exactly what you were talking about before. So yes, layers. It's all about taking the layers off and putting them back on again. Is it cooling down considerably at night?
Yeah. It's always cooler at night, and of course we have some air conditioning, which is a blessing. But I did read in I saw it on a news report that Evora was at 46 a few days ago, which was a record high. Yeah. So that's just incredible.
That is an extraordinary temperature. I don't think you can do much in that sort of heat except sit it out.
You just
melt.
You just immerse yourself in water as much as you can.
Absolutely. A beautiful picture of which is behind you. And you mentioned there, Ponte De Lima, some development, a lot of building going on. What's happening up there?
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of apartment building and that sort of thing. So every little nook and cranny where they can squeeze some additional construction. That's good. I mean, it's been something that they've been working on. So and they also beginning, gosh, maybe 6 months ago, so long before we left, they were working on renovating the city center main road into it, which is all cobblestone.
Right.
So that was a major endeavor, and they took down some old ancient buildings, some I guess not ruins, but ones that really weren't occupied, and they're just renovating that whole area. It's still it's rebuilt cobblestone, but they're going to be doing some civic center expansion and those kinds of things. So that'll be a blessing once it's finished, because it's interrupted the whole flow of traffic in and out of town. You have to go do all these hiddly-wumpus kinds of things. So
it gets worse before it gets better, doesn't it? That incredible facade. I remember you telling me the story of a developer who was told they mustn't change the front of a building. So they literally just left the front of the building. I think they knocked the back of it down, and there's just
that's right. That's right in the square, with the fountain and everything. So yeah, that's still kind of left the way it is. I don't know what they're going to end up doing there, because that's a dispute between the property owner and the city.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Not unusual here in Portugal, but nice to hear things are developing, exciting things going up there in the north, and Ponte De Lima, where you live, of course, and fresh back from the USA with a couple of wonderful video postcards for us to take a look at and re-enjoy your time in the United States. How was it generally, John, to be back there?
Oh, very good. It's it's a little bit what's the word? Disconcerting in the sense of disrupting your life here, going there, and when you're just on holiday for a couple of weeks or something, it's more of an interlude. But when you're there for 2.5 months, as we were, you're much more immersive, and okay, now we're here, and you kind of forget a lot of things, and so you really have to make an effort to stay connected with friends and activities and things going on, because now you have a foot in both places, and psychologically you need to kind of get things coalesced. So,
meshed. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And remember which breakfast you're having. Your very notable video that you sent to us, which was very popular. And I've still yet to bring the full English breakfast to the screen. I think we've done, of course, thanks to you, the American breakfast and the Portuguese breakfast, which is fairly straightforward, it has to be said. Full English on its way, which I'll have at the Welsh Bar one of these mornings and video that. Talking of videos, a couple of fantastic videos this morning, one a diary and one a particular, I was going to call it not an incident exactly, but a very I think this is quite a good showcase of American engineering, is it not? And a seagull having a free ride as well. What's happening here, John?
Well, I'm about to get crushed by this massive steel structure.
Yes.
So, doing a little daring here.
Yes. Actually, before that gets to the end, then let's have that as a bit of a cliffhanger. One of the earlier videos you shared with us, I think maybe last time you were on, you were hanging off the edge of what looked like a cliff above the water of one of the Great Lakes. And here you are, larking about again, potentially being crushed by a rising and falling bridge. This is what to let shipping through, is it?
Yeah, this is called the Aerial Lift Bridge in Duluth, Minnesota. It's a iconic landmark in the U.S. As you may know, Duluth, Minnesota is the furthest inland international seaport, because so we ships from, of course, in the Great Lakes area, but you also have international shipping. So we've had ships there from Belgium and South Africa and all the places. So they come in for picking
Amazing.
up and dropping off things. So
Yeah.
they come in through the St. Lawrence Seaway and up through the locks, all through the Great Lakes. And so the Great Lakes are a huge economic, important region for the United States.
Yeah, and I wonder if Bob Dylan ever wrote a song about this bridge. We got a bridge, it goes up and down. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, he is native from there.
Let's see what happens to you here. I think Pam, presumably knowing the outcome of this and letting you go.
Now pay attention to the pigeon on the far right.
Nerves of steel, John. Right. He's had his fun, and the pigeon that is a flown away. You had your fun there too. Did you have to rehearse that, or did you just see what would happen?
I've done it a few times.
Okay, all right. Yes, and I think you're a tall chap, so a lot of people would attempt that with a little less stress, perhaps. But there's what, a couple of inches clearance above your head.
Wait, I the closer you get to the wall there, the closer it is to touching my head. So if I'm just about 4 inches off the wall, then it's just right.
Wow, you and the pigeon clearly had a lot of fun. I think he's done it before as well as you've done it a few times as well. Fantastic. The Rising Bridge of Duluth. I'm sure that's not the official name for it. Let's have a look at your video postcard of your time there. And we can.
A little late
I love
too.
walking through these when you tell us what you've been up to over in the US. Now this.
You have to start it over with the music.
Oh yeah, I've got the music in the background here. I think. There you go. Can you hear that now?
Yeah.
What is this beautiful place, John?
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Well, it is the Glensheen Mansion, which is along the North Shore there. That's part of East Duluth. It's a famous mansion built by the Condon family, Chester Condon.
Right.
He was one of the wealthy entrepreneurs of Duluth of the late 1800s.
I'm just taking that back. It looks like an English country manor. It's done in that
So
style.
yeah, it's a huge castle. And he had 7 children. And one of his children was his daughter Elizabeth, who was the final resident of this place. And she lived there all her life. And she was an elderly lady, but she was murdered in her bed by her adopted daughter and her boyfriend in 1977.
Wow, what a grisly
end. Famous
people,
sort of murder mystery.
Yeah, some people will remember that, won't they, from their childhoods?
Yeah, so this was, there's been novels written and there was a movie made with starring, was it Doris Day? No, Natalie Wood, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's filmed there.
Yeah, and what a beautiful place. What an incredible place with a somewhat eerie history there.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks out onto the lake.
Yes, looks out straight over the lake and beautiful gardens.
So back to the water and the shipping. I think you were never far away from this.
No, that mansion's probably only 3-4 miles up the coast from there. That's my brother-in-law and sister. And then on windy days, you can surf. This is the
that looks freezing.
Into the lake.
Just how cold was that? This person is in a proper wetsuit, aren't they? Not taking any chances. Is it as cold as it looks?
It's a cold. It's very cold water, but it's very popular with the surfers because when the wind's up, it can get quite wavy. Not like that, obviously, but still. This is a little train you can take, a little nostalgic train along the estuary. It's quite fantastic.
That's lovely.
This log cabin we rented for a bit.
Hey, hold on a minute.
Cedar trees.
I've got to keep rewinding here. Did you say lupins?
That's lupin, yeah.
Now, these are where we get our tremosos beans from, aren't they? The lupini beans. Is it the same plant?
Yeah, it's the same plant. Here in Portugal, I think they're mostly yellow.
Yes.
I've seen whole fields full of yellow lupin.
Yeah.
But it must be somewhat of a different um, uh, breed of it, because I've never seen like big, nickel-sized beans from these plants. These ones seem to have the smaller seeds, but they are
Yeah.
this. They look the same. It's just that these ones are purple and here they're yellow. Cedar trees,
Yes.
cliffs.
There is an ancient sort of feel about this area. This is a deeply historic part of the States.
It's Silver Bay. This is
Ultimately.
a fantastic zoo that we have
Okay,
never been
fine.
to.
It is a zoo. I'm thinking, okay, you
Yeah.
were talking about the wildlife, the squirrels, the deer, and now a
Yeah.
tiger in your back garden, but this is a zoo.
My sister-in-law's, lived there her whole life, and she'd never been to it, so we had to check it out, and it's really quite a splendid um, zoo. It's got lots and lots of things,
Wow.
all well taken care of, very well manicured,
Oh,
curated.
yeah.
Mountain lion, and the moods of the lake with the mist. More lupin. That's more lupin. And then back
And
home.
home. And home to your hydrangeas, from lupins to hydrangeas. Yeah, and you were saying what we'll do is to do that justice, we'll go out with that video in a little while after we finish chatting. But yeah, you the way you've done it, you basically had a 6-month spring, you were saying.
6 months of spring, because
Good.
I consider spring here in Portugal about January through March, because flowers start to bloom and trees start to produce fruit. So spring to me. So yeah, January through March, April was spring here, and then we left mid-April to go to Minnesota, and then we had April through June, which was spring there. And so we've had flowers blooming and trees fruiting out and all that for 6 months. So
Yes, amazing, lucky you. And they say the best mirror is an old friend. Coming back to Portugal, to your dear friend Portugal, after 2.5 months, anything noticeably different with that little bit of contrast of spending time in the USA?
many things, and we've talked some about some of the comparison and contrasts.
Yeah.
But just the love for, I mean, here in Portugal, just the love for community, all the festivals and all the camaraderie and all of the get-togethers and the family events and things. That's such a rich aspect of life. Waking up to the church bells and the roosters and the sheep and the cows, because we live on the edge of the village, and to the north of us is all open fields, so I miss that. And then just all the nice windy roads everywhere. Nothing's straight, which I personally really appreciate, because I like to drive. And in the U.S., you have a lot of straight roads, and that's a bit boring. And you also have a lot of, if you're in the city centers or the urban areas, you have a lot of what do you call it, grid pattern streets with lots of stop signs. And that's my new pet peeve, is stop signs. I never really thought about it too much, because that's, you just grow up that way. But there's not a lot of stop signs here in Ponte De Lima. I don't know about in Sao Martinho, but
No, people don't always stop anyway, do they?
no, we have intersections, obviously, but
Yes.
not stop signs. And so the whole idea is that when you come to an intersection, you're careful and you look and proceed when it's clear, which is it's obvious, and use common sense. But boy, there it's like every 5 seconds you're stopping. And sometimes it's a 4-way, and sometimes it's a 2-way. When it's a 2-way, sometimes you have the throughway, and other times you don't, and they have the throughway, and then the other times they have a yield, and then when it's your 3-way, then the stop signs for them are edge onto you, and you can't see them, and so you never know what anybody's doing. So
It sounds like you breathed a sigh of relief jumping into your motor here and driving around the beautiful roads of Portugal.
yeah, I know some people complain about the road behavior here in Portugal, but I actually like it.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, it's real. It's
Yeah,
authentic.
in the U.S., there's much more of a predatory aspect to the highway patrol and the driver. So, if you break the speed limit by a little bit, they're off to get you, or they hide behind a bush and then they pounce out at you and get you if you're. And just the fact of speeding or going faster than the speed limit, not speeding, but is you're not endangering anybody. You're just moving along straight. And here in Portugal, it seems that the focus is on if you're an endangerment to others, or you're driving recklessly, or you're weaving between lanes and passing on the right, or that sort of thing. That's what they might pull you over for. But if you're just moving along, doing your business and not hindering or interfering with anyone, they let you let you on your way. So
Yeah, long may it continue, right? Just keep things moving, and yeah, allow the free flow of human beings and their vehicles to enjoy their lives. Excellent. Sounds like you're pleased to be back. You mentioned festas. You've just had the big Cordas de Vaca, or Vaca de Cordas
well,
de
the
Vaca.
Bacchus de Cordas was here, and of course there's the São João festival, which was just before we came back.
Yeah.
São João celebrated everywhere, but most famously in Porto. But there were remnants left over of that, I guess, with fireworks and people still partying and things. So the first night we slept here, we know there were fireworks going off, and so Pam was saying,
Welcome you back.
they're happy we're back. So
Yes, absolutely. Laid on some fireworks for you. It's not over, is it? I mean, even though those are some of the most notable and biggest festivals in your area, there'll be things happening throughout the year, of course. Anything else? Any places, spaces, or festas that have caught your eye that you'll be going to that people can be aware of?
Nothing that catches my attention at the moment. There's probably one that I'll try to avoid in September, which is the big one here. Oh gosh, I always forget the name. Feiras Novas.
Oh, okay, yes,
Yeah,
the complete
that's the one
takeover.
where there's like 500,000 people that come in from everywhere, and
Yeah.
the parking is, you can't find parking for 2 kilometers anywhere near town.
Yes.
So luckily we could probably walk, but even there you'd be edging your way through. So actually factually never been to Feiras Novas here, but many friends of ours have, and I've seen lots of pictures, and it is very significant, and I probably should do it once, but it's very crowded. Let me say that.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I'll see you down here.
Yeah.
It's a good time to get to San
Yeah,
Martinho.
I hear your karaoke things are every month now. Is that right?
Third Saturday, and we were going to rest it for July and August, but we're going to have I have a significant birthday next Monday, and I'm going to be celebrating on the 19th of July here in San Martinho de Porto with a disco and karaoke session. But yeah, third Saturday.
Is that number 60 or no?
It is, John.
is.
I should be 60 on a Monday of next week.
That's right. You're a year younger than I.
Yeah. What's it like?
Oh, well, the view is terrific from up here.
Thank you. That's very encouraging. Well, always great to chat to you. Welcome back to Portugal. Maybe see you at the karaoke and disco.
When's your birthday?
7th of July. 7th of July.
Gosh.
And you know what? This whole idea. Look, I'm too old to learn Portuguese. I'm going to make a special effort. And so come and learn with me, anybody who's been putting it off or isn't doing as much Portuguese as they would like to, which is most people, let's face it. We're going to be starting together next Monday to celebrate my birthday with Maria, whose course is now hosted at the Portugal Club. So if you fancy a little bit of encouragement, community around learning your Portuguese, come and join us.
I might have to drive down and pop in and say hello.
Well, that'll be fantastic. It'd be lovely to see you, of course, John. Thank you so much for being here. We'll go out with an uninterrupted version now of your lovely video and enjoy that. And thanks again. Muito obrigado. Bom dia. And we'll see you soon, John. Thanks very much. Big round of applause for you. Cheers, John. Ciao, ciao.